they have been so used to not getting any sort of production from their bench, right? The bench would come in, they couldn't play any offense, and by proxy, the other team was fast breaking the other way, and all of a sudden it was an 8-0 run, and they're panicking and they're calling a timeout. What the Nuggets have done this year in reshaping their bench, not around the idea of we're going to come in, hold the line, and play good defense, which has been the thought process, I think, for several years. And last year it turned into we're going to hold the line and then get out and transition and run. This year's bench, built around Tim Hardaway Jr., who is a shooter, Jonas Valanciunas, who's an offensive center. To me, this bench is built around the idea of scoring to continue to keep that margin up when Jokic is off the floor. And this has been a giant shift in the Nuggets philosophy. And to me, that's why the Nuggets bench is successful so far and will continue to be, because they have an identity as a bench, and that's to continue to score offensively.
Yeah, no, I think it's really well said and much needed. Frankly, it's a breath of fresh air to have that competence on the bench unit or with the bench unit rather. And I think, you know what I noticed more than anything is I think everything you said is spot on. When Tim Hardaway Jr. is in the game, when Jonas Valanciunas is in the game, Bruce Brown and company, they just look like professionals out there, right? Like, and I don't mean that as a slight to anybody who's been coming off the bench the last couple of years, but like there's a level of competency that comes with this iteration of the Denver Nuggets bench that has been lacking the last couple of seasons. And because of that, you don't have to put the weight of the world on Nikola Jokic's shoulders as you've had to in previous seasons and whatnot. And so I think, you know, between the scoring dynamic and also just the ability to kind of play aware, like it just seems like Bruce Brown is always very aware of where things are at, you know, with his body language. Like they just look like a team that has their head on straight and are on the same page from the starting group to the bench group. Whereas the last couple of years, it felt like a split of like, okay, the starters do one thing and the bench tries not to mess it up. It seems like, as opposed to trying not to mess it up with the bench unit this year, they're actually able to up that lead and up the ante a little bit, which is great for Denver.
Yeah, and Bruce's raw numbers aren't there, but Bruce is the glue, and Bruce is just loved in this town. You know, Brucey B.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeehaw! You know that you've got Big Val. Somebody say
Yeah.
Val.
Yep.
You know, and then we've got THJ Rain in threes. We said it in the title about the Colt Heroes, but I really think that this bench is going to garner an identity throughout the course of the year and into the
I
playoffs.
think it already has.
Yeah, we're talking about it,
Right.
but the fans, I think, are gonna start to recognize it and fall in love with it.